発動次元融合殺フィールドの深淵をウリア高麗をハモ現場をラビエルを除外し混沌現場アーミタイルを特殊召喚するアーミタイルの効果発動
Hello everybody, this is... No, I'm gonna start that again. Hello everybody, my name is Senkara and this is my deck profile for the one-card Chaos Phantasm Armityle OTK. Basically, the premise of this deck is to get out Armityle, the Chaos Phantom, using only one card. It's very simple and it's fantastic, so if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out Tuesday's video by clicking the card above, where you can see this deck in action and it's pretty awesome. So let's get right into the deck profile. First of all, let's cover Armityle, the Chaos Phantasm. If you don't know what this card does, basically, you summon him fusing the Sacred Beast together, but he can only be summoned using his own effect, or with Dimension Fusion Destruction. And pretty much, he can't be destroyed by battle, and on your turn he gains 10,000 attack. So you know he's pretty big. Basically, if this card attacks anything with 2,000 or less attack points that's in attack mode, your opponent will die. So that's fantastic, especially considering most of the meta game doesn't use like huge monsters. It has a lot of smaller monsters, which is fantastic. So, premise of this deck, use one card to get this out. What is that one card, you might ask? Well, we've got 6 of them. It's either Dark Beckoning Beast or Opening of the Spirit Gates. They both do the same thing and they both work and get each other. So you need both of them, but you only actually need one of them. Now, since we have 6 of them in the deck, the odds of getting this card in your starting hand is about 60%, which is pretty amazing. So you can bust out Armityle on your first turn. Even if you don't get these cards, you'll have plenty of other stuff to work with. So it's a pretty fantastic deck and works really well in getting out Armityle. And of course, once Armityle's out, you're set. You're set. Now you can also summon the other Sacred Beasts as well, but you normally won't have to. I have summoned Haman and Raviel before just for fun, but I could have summoned Armityle. But I mean, just because you can, yeah, you can summon Armityle very easily in this deck. But you can summon these guys if needed. You can also summon Uriah, though, you know, I don't see why you would really need to as much, because yeah, he's not the best in this deck. He can run like one attack with Hyper Blaze, but other than that, he's pretty much useless. So I suppose he could get 2,000 attack, a whole 2,000 attack points, and he can destroy face down cards, so he's not all bad, but he's not the best. So let's get right into this deck. First of all, we've got 3 Chaos Core. This is basically the center of this deck. This card gets all your Sacred Beasts in the graveyard whenever he's targeted for an attack or a card effect, and then he negates damage for the rest of the turn if you do that, and stops himself from being destroyed. So Chaos Core is great. Chaos Core gets our Sacred Beasts in the graveyard, which is where we want them in order to fusion summon, so you need 3 Chaos Core. Next up, we've got 1 Chaos Summoning Beast. This card is just to bust out a Sacred Beast if necessary, or to get your Fallen Paradise when this card goes to the graveyard. So we only need 1 since he's easily searchable, and you don't really need him since we're not going for the other Sacred Beast. Next we got 3 Dark Beckoning Beasts. This is one of the key cards in the deck. If you get this card, you can summon Armityle nice and easy, which I'll explain later. So Dark Beckoning Beast adds any Chaos Beast, any Sacred Beast card, or any card that lists a Sacred Beast from your deck to your hand. Next we got a Dark Summoning Beast. This card, again, you don't really need it, but he is there to basically get the other Sacred Beasts out of your deck if for whatever reason you don't get Chaos Core. You can use this guy from the graveyard or by summoning him and tributing him to summon a Sacred Beast or add 1 to your hand if he's in the graveyard. Next we got 2 Haman, 2 Raviel, and 2 Uriah. 2 of each Sacred Beast just to have the option to summon 2 Armityles nice and easy. It just gets them all, and then you have backups if you ever want to summon them. They never really become a dead card in the hand, so it doesn't really matter. Well, they do, but it's not a problem, and you can always summon them with a Summoning Beast here. So yeah, these guys are pretty good. 2 of them is fine. You don't need 3. 3 would be overkill, and 1 just doesn't seem like enough. Next we got our Predaplant engine. So we got 2 Predaplant Orpheus Scorpio and 1 Darlingtonia Cobra. These guys are just to get your Dimension Fusion Destruction again. Yeah, this whole deck is centered around Dimension Fusion Destruction and summoning Armityle, and then summoning more Armityles and other things as well you can go for. So that's the idea of that. This card can also get your Super Polymerization, which is just there for shits and giggles, really. Just because you well used it, honestly, that's the only reason we have Super Poly, but it's great. So next we got 2 Burial from a Different Dimension. This card is going to get your fusion materials back in the graveyard so that you can then summon Armityle again. I found that actually using 2 of these is really, really good, and you are pretty likely to get this card in your hand as well. But even if you don't need it. But if you do, then you can summon Armityle again. You can summon another one because you know, one was good, more must be better. Next we have 3 Dimension Fusion Destruction. If you don't know what this does, this card lets you summon Armityle, ignoring its summoning conditions by fusing the 3 Sacred Beasts from your hand, field, or graveyard. So use Chaos Core to dump them into the graveyard, and then fuse them with Dimension Fusion Destruction. More than that, it also stops you from taking damage from attacks involving Armityle. So yeah, you take no battle damage from attacks involving the monster summoned by this effect, and since Armityle has 0 attack points on your opponent's turn, this is a pretty good effect to have. Next we got 3 Fallen Paradise. This card is for a protection for Armityle. It's definitely necessary. It's not 100% necessary, but you don't want your Armityle to die by a card effect, so Fallen Paradise is fantastic. It's also a once per turn Pot of Greed if you have any Sacred Beasts, including Armityle, on the field. Next we got a Foolish Burial. You can use this to dump your last remaining Sacred Beast if for whatever reason not all 3 of them are in the graveyard. You can also use it to dump your Dark Summoning Beast or Chaos Summoning Beast to use their effects from the graveyard to get either a Sacred Beast or Fallen Paradise, which is definitely fantastic. I'll usually use Foolish Burial to dump the Chaos Summoning Beast to get Fallen Paradise if I don't have it already. Next we got a Harpy's Feather Duster. Take care of the back row. This is an OTK deck, so that's kind of necessary. In the same row, in the same light, we have 2 Lightning Storm to do the same thing, either the back row or the front row. Either way, this card's pretty great. You have to use it first though. Next we got 3 Opening of the Spirit Gates. Again, if you get this card in your hand, you've summoned Armityle. Congratulations. This card lets you add any Sacred Beast card, including cards that list Sacred Beast, from your deck to your hand. It also lets you discard 1 card to special summon a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your graveyard each turn, which we'll get into later. That's part of the combo. Next we got 3 Pot of Extravagance, just for extra draw power to make sure you get your combo pieces. Just be careful though, because you know this will get rid of 6 random cards from your extra deck, and if you lose all your Armityles, that's kind of really bad. So yeah, it hasn't happened to me yet. it's not, we have 3 Armityles, we have 2 of everything else that we need, so you know, it's not that likely that you'll lose your combo pieces, but just be aware that that might happen. If you're very unlucky with this card, then you might, if you're really nervous about it, you can swap it out for a Pot of Prosperity instead, which lets you choose which cards you banish. But personally, I prefer to draw 2 cards rather than just search for 1. Though you only need 1 card, I just like the +1 rather than the +0. But you know, if you prefer, if you're really worried about that, then by all means, Prosperity instead is still a fantastic card. Next up, we got a Raigeki to take care of your opponent's monsters for the OTK. Super Polymerization is, again, it's here just for shits and giggles, but you can use it to steal your opponent's monsters and summon these Predaplant guys from your deck. Just why not? Like, it's fun. Your Bell uses it, may as well. Next up, we got a Terraforming to get your Fallen Paradise. We got 1 Awakening of the Sacred Beast, just because you can summon Sacred Beasts with this deck, and we haven't used this card in our Sacred Beast deck so far, so I thought it might be fun to include it in this one. And finally, we have a Hyper Blaze to get your Sacred Beast back to your hand after you send them to the graveyard, and then just in case you want to summon them for whatever reason you can't summon Armityle. So that's basically it for the main deck. Next we got the extra deck. This is where the fun begins. So first of all, we've got 3 Armityle the Chaos Phantasm. Obviously, this card is the main card of your deck. You're gonna bust out a bunch of them. You're just summoning this card over and over again, and it's really easy to do so. In one of the duels on Tuesday's video, I got out 3 of them, simply because my opponent managed to last long enough for me to get out 3 of them. I was just whipping out them each turn. I was just like throwing Armityles on the board. Normally I'll get out at least 2, which is fantastic, or 1 of them, and 1 Armityle the Chaos Phantasm Phantom of Fury. This gives Armityle his anime effect pretty much. So with this card, you can switch control of it to your opponent, and then during the end phase, it banishes everything they control. All cards you control are banished while it's on their field, and then the owner of this card special summons Armityle from their extra deck, which has the 10,000 attack. Now, you don't want to go for this card. Normally, if your opponent has something you can't get over, like a marshmallow or something, I don't know, then you might want to go for this card. It clears their entire board and gives you an Armityle. One thing that I'd like to do, now I'm not sure if I can do this, I did it in the first duel on Tuesday's video, though I'll just point out that I didn't need to do it. I just thought, hey, I can do this. This could be fun. So, if I am not mistaken, you can summon Phantom of Fury, give it to your opponent. It has 0 attack points, and then attack it with Armityle. So it's basically turns your Armityle into a direct attack. Now, the reason I'm not sure if this works is because of Dimension Fusion Destruction. It says you take no battle damage from attacks involving the monster special summoned by this effect. Now, the way that I'm reading that is that you, who activated Dimension Fusion Destruction, takes no battle damage from the monster summoned. So not, like, it doesn't say that the monster gains that effect, it says you take no battle damage. So I'm pretty sure this works, in which case you can summon a regular Armityle, then summon this guy, give it to your opponent, and then attack it for 10,000. Which is, like, really stupid and amazing and really easy to pull off, which is great. So then you don't need to worry about how much attack your opponent has, if it's in attack mode, if they have monsters in the way. You can just summon this guy, give it to them, and then attack it for 10,000, which is just bloody brilliant. And then if that fails, it banishes everything they control during the end phase, so you know that's great. Next we have one Phantasm Emperor Trilogy. I never went for this in Tuesday's duel. I thought about it, but then Armityle was just always better. But there may be a case where this guy comes up. He inflicts damage to your opponent equal to half of the original attack of one monster that your opponent controls, and you know that's pretty great. And that's whenever this card is special summoned, or if another monster is special summoned from the graveyard to your field while you control this monster. So, you know, that's pretty good. Inflicts burn damage, has 4,000 attack. You summon it with 3 level 10 monsters, that being any 3 of your Sacred Beasts. They don't even have to be different. You could even use Super Polymerization to steal 3 of your opponent's level 10 monsters. If they have any, then that's great too. So, you know, that's fantastic. Here's a Phantasm card, so it can be summoned with Dimension Fusion Destruction. Next up, we got our Super Polymerization summons again. This is just for shits and giggles. We got Predaplant Chimeraphlasia, Menhairaphlasia, and Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. These guys are summoned with Dark Monsters, so you steal your opponent's Dark Monsters. This card needs a Predaplant as well, which we've got, and it does some pretty awesome stuff. This card gives you a Polymerization spell card or Fusion spell card from your deck to your hand, so this again is just another card to get your Dimension Fusion Destruction, because why not? And then this card as well is Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. He's pretty awesome. Next up for the Xyz monsters, we've got one number 77, the 7 Sins. You probably won't go into this card, but it is very easy to summon. It's easy enough to bust out 2 Armitiles, so you can go into this. You probably won't need to, but if the case occurs where you may need to go for this card, it's there. You have the option. Next, we've got our OTK helpful cards. We've got Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Phoenix, and Nightmare Unicorn. I might switch out a Unicorn for another Phoenix, but it's up to you. You can do that. I like to have the options. These cards basically just here to get rid of your opponent's cards if there's anything in the way, especially those back rows thanks to Phoenix. Next, we got 2 Verde Anaconda. I'll get into this later, but basically it lets you activate Dimension Fusion Destruction from your deck for the cost of 2,000 life points, which is bloody brilliant. That's fantastic. And finally, we got Salamangreat Great Almirage. 2 Almirage. This card's fantastic in general for Sacred Beast decks. If you haven't already, check out my previous Sacred Beast decks to see how this card works. But in this deck, it's a key card in the combo. So let me explain the combo to you real quick. Okay, so this was the hand that I started with, and as you can see already, we've got both of the, you know, we just need one of these, and you've won. So I'm gonna put everything back in. I'll go for Dark Beckoning Beast because why not? You know, he's pretty cool. So, but this combo also works with Opening of the Spirit Gates, just so you know. We will be grabbing both of them with their effects, but you only need one. And then you've got Chaos Phantasm Armityle. So, first of all, normal summon your Dark Beckoning Beast. This activates his effect. When he's normal summoned, you can add a Sacred Beast card or a card that specifically lists the Sacred Beast from your deck to your hand. So what you're going to do is add Opening of the Spirit Gates. Now, if you drew Opening of the Spirit Gates, you activate Opening of the Spirit Gates, it does the same thing, and then you add Dark Beckoning Beast to your hand and summon it, and then get the next card, basically. But basically, next we activate Opening of the Spirit Gates, and this does the same thing. It gets you a Sacred Beast card from your deck to your hand. So what we're going to grab this time is Chaos Core. Now, with the effect of Dark Beckoning Beast, you get an extra normal summon of 1 fiend monster with 0 attack and defense, so you normal summon your Chaos Core. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to link our Dark Beckoning Beast to summon Salamangreat Great Almirage. And then with the effect of Almirage, we're going to tribute this card, Quick Effect, which then targets one monster you control and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. So you want to target your Chaos Core. Now when Chaos Core is targeted by a card effect, his effect activates. Yep, I just wanted to check that. Yep, either player activates card effect. So when this card is targeted, his effect activates, allowing you to send the 3 Sacred Beasts from your deck to your graveyard. You want to send one of each. You want to send Uriah, Raviel, and Haman. Now, if one of them is not in the deck, well, that's okay too. You don't need to send all three, and if one's in your hand, then it doesn't matter because Dimension Fusion's destruction. Fusion summons from anywhere. So now this guy has 3 counters, which isn't important. It just means he can't be destroyed by battle 3 times, or card effects, I think. But next up, you want to activate the effect of opening of the Spirit Gate. So you do actually need one more card in your hand. I forgot about that. That is my bad. So you need 2 cards technically, but only one of them has to be specific. So next you're going to use Opening of the Spirit Gates to discard 1 card in your hand, and then special summon your Dark Beckoning Beast from the graveyard. Now, his effect won't activate when he's special summoned, but now we can link both of these monsters in order to summon Predaplant Verde Anaconda. Now, with his effect, we pay 2,000 of our life points to activate Dimension Fusion Destruction straight from our deck by sending it to the graveyard, which then fuses our free Sacred Beast from the graveyard, banish all 3 of them, and then go straight into any of your Phantasm Fusion cards. Armityle. Boom. During your turn, he has 10,000 attack per game. Simple, once you know the secret. So that's the deck, and of course you'll have more cards in your hand during your starting hand, but as long as you have either Opening of the Spirit Gates or Dark Beckoning Beast, then you're good to go. See, this time I drew Terraforming, which ideally you really want to get Fallen Paradise to protect your Armityle further. But nonetheless, this is the 1-card combo to summon Armityle the Chaos Phantasm. I'll jump right back into the deck real quick so that you can get another look. But thank you also very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you like this deck. If you give it a try for yourself, then be sure to let me know in the comments and leave this video a like. Satisfy me by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the bell icon to be notified of when another video comes out. We do Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos every Tuesday and Thursday, so look forward to that. Thank you also very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and until next time, see ya.